नमस्कार, मैं उदय प्रताप सिंह। आप देख रहे हैं इंडिया न्यूज और न्यूज एक्स। वी आर इन कॉन्वर्सेशन टुडे विद द एंटायर टीम of the much awaited film on Netflix titled Darlings. Yes, it's an interesting title. We will talk about that as well in just a second. But firstly, welcome all of you to NewsX and India News. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
पहले आलिया, मैं आपसे शुरुआत करूंगा क्योंकि ये आपकी डेब्यू फिल्म है एज अ प्रोड्यूसर। तो ये जर्नी कैसी रही and how did you decide to co-produce this project as well?
The decision to kind of come on board as a producer happened very instinctively. I don't know and remember the exact moment of like there was no epiphany as such, but it just felt right. ये जो कहानी है, जसमीत ये स्क्रिप्ट लेकर आई थी मेरे पास along with गौरव from Red Chillies, और मुझे कहानी बहुत यूनिक लगी, बहुत सरप्राइजिंग लगी, बहुत स्पेशल लगी, and I wanted to be a part of it as an actor, but I also felt like it's a beautiful film for me to start my production house journey with, and it all worked out very seamlessly and I'm very grateful.
मगर ये आपके जहन में था कि आपको एक अच्छी कहानी चाहिए which you can co-produce as well, कि Pocket Full of Sunshine की शुरुआत हो एक you know specific कहानी के संग, specific genre के संग? Eternal Sunshine.
हाँ, A Pocket Full of Sunshine also is quite lovely.
It's quite
actually. Yeah.
I thought he was making that.
Definitely Pocket Full of Eternal Sunshine.
Yeah. I think the endeavor is to bring on your credibility of recognizing an interesting story. तो जब लोग मुझे आज कहते हैं कि what a brave choice as a producer, after seeing the film, or what a unique choice, I feel like इसके मतलब हाँ, there was a larger tent at which I'm looking at. I'm not looking at only what my role as an actor in it is, as in fact like when people say, you know, you were lovely but the rest of the cast was better, or or they were great, I love that, because it's like, listen, honestly, I don't look at this film as just a film to again show off like how talented I am as an actor. No, I'm trying to be like, listen, I'm interested in telling unique stories, good stories, and you can trust me as a creative producer. उसका मतलब बाकी का मेरे को पता नहीं है, but I will be very involved creatively because that's something that I've enjoyed and I've learned so much on the job.
जी, इस वजह से शायद आपसे ये सवाल ऑलरेडी होने लग गए हैं कि आप डायरेक्ट कब करेंगे, पर जैसे आपने कहा
मतलब एक्स्ट्रा होने
मैं काम देना जी, but before I get in, Shefali ji, you know the other cast as well, on the title Jasmeet, ये Darlings title Jasmeet किसने रखा ये?
It's Jasmeet.
Jasmeet एक बड़ा I think Delhi वाला title नाम है, इसलिए I think people must be saying that, मगर Jasmeet title कैसे रखा आपने Darlings, और who came up with it?
It was there in the dialogue. I was trying to figure out what Hamza will call Badru, and you know there is sweetheart, baby, there are so many names that you call people who you love, and Darling seemed like the correct thing in the dialogue, and then we thought why not name the film Darlings.
ये शूटिंग के दौरान हुआ, शूटिंग से पहले?
नहीं, पहले स्क्रिप्ट के स्टेज पे. It was always called Darlings.
Okay. Shefali ji, tell us about what appealed to you about this project. आपका रोल बड़ा अनोखा रिश्ता है माँ बेटी के बीच में, very different to what I think we've seen in Indian films till now. तो आपके लिए क्या अनोखा था इस रोल के बारे में?
एक तो द स्क्रिप्ट वाज टेरिफिक एंड रोल जैसे आपने कहा अब तक सिर्फ सीरियस पार्ट्स ऑफर हो रहे हैं, एंड आई एम वेरी प्राउड ऑफ ऑल द प्रोजेक्ट्स आई हैव बीन एसोसिएटेड विद, बट शायद जिस तरह का काम किया है उसकी वजह से लोगों को लगता है कि ये सीरियस, यू नो, शी डज वेरी लाइक serious kind of work. So this was एक तो a different genre, which obviously as an actor I'm very greedy. I want to do all kind of genres. और दूसरा शमशू is a cracker. मतलब उसका एक अलग ही दिमाग है, उसका सुर ही कुछ अलग है, and not conventional mother जो होती है कि you know अपने बच्चे को समझाती है कि हो जाएगा, ठीक हो जाएगा, सेटल हो जाएगा. Her solutions are very different in life. और whatever she has gone through, वो बहुत unapologetic and she's not bitter at all. In fact, she has a childlike enthusiasm के अच्छा whatever comes her way, she's more than happy to embrace it. So all of it was great fun and मतलब it was a no-brainer. It was like obviously ये तो करना ही है. I have to be a part of it.
मगर क्या आपको भी लगता है जो मैं कह रहा था आपसे कि ऐसी मदर डॉटर रिलेशनशिप हमने शायद नहीं देखी है?
Yeah, I think Thelma and Louise was
But they were friends, no?
They were friends. But like, you know, that, or actually no.
No, there is no reference.
There's no reference.
There's no reference as Sunny.
No, there's no
That's a
reference.
good thing.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah,
good thing.
it's a unique relationship.
जी आने वाले दिन में लोग कहेंगे डार्लिंग्स एज अ रेफरेस पॉइंट
And also ना कई like in the जैसे आप कह रहे हैं, like a lot of times she is the one who's more matured, more settled, more. So they're switching roles, and they're very close as friends.
जी.
I mean they're friends, and touch wood, the chemistry also shows कि अच्छा ये लोग जिंदगी भर एक साथ रहे हैं. You know, that kind of a thing.
जॉनर का जिक्र किया. आलिया, I'll ask you quickly कि क्या आप जॉनर को डिफाइन कर सकते हैं कि इस फिल्म किस कैटेगरी में फिट होती है, और यू कैन नॉट कंपार्टमेंटलाइज इट, क्योंकि ट्रेलर देख के कभी लगता है थ्रिलर है, कभी लगता है रोमांस है, कभी लगता है कॉमेडी है, कभी लगता है सटायर है.
Confused genre नहीं है, but you can say that it's a certain, we're calling it a dark comedy, but आपको बहुत सारे layers इसमें experience करने को मिलेंगे. You'll get relationships, drama, romance, love story, life story, this story. Yeah, a thrill element. वो सब है, but it's not like it's confusing कि मतलब सब कुछ है इसमें. सब कुछ है in a very entertaining sort of way. पर हमें सिर्फ डार्क कॉमेडी बुला रहे हैं.
Yeah, broadly it's a dark
ड्रामा कॉमेडी.
But it's not a satire, it's a very realistic, rooted film.
Correct.
जी विजय, आपके लिए क्या यूनिक सेलिंग पॉइंट था? व्हाट वाज दैट थिंग दैट क्लिंच्ड इट फॉर यू? जैसे आप कह रहे थे कि अक्सर आपको हमने रोमांटिक पार्ट्स में नहीं देखा है, सो इसमें थोड़ा मौका तो मिला.
हाँ, थोड़ा मौका मिला, बहुत ही रिलक्टेंट सा मौका मिला, लेकिन जितना भी मौका मिला मैंने आई मेड श्योर दैट इट्स अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग ऑन स्क्रीन रिलेशनशिप ऑफ अ हस्बैंड एंड वाइफ विच वी रिफ्यूज टू टॉक अबाउट, विच इज़ द मोस्ट इंटरेस्टिंग ड्रॉ फॉर मी. I feel like if you take a film like a Blue Valentine or Closer Home, Agni Sakshi, those were very powerful husband-wife relationships, and there is some kind of something that is not working in a marriage. So we wanted to kind of see what we can do with that, and but biggest if you ask me what is the biggest, like what was the selling point for me, they didn't, I mean, it's just an opportunity to work with this incredible set of people and talents. We all wish to kind of work with talents who are this phenomenal, because the give and take becomes the next level. You can take it to the next level. So that was probably what was the biggest selling point for me.
आपने एक इंटरेस्टिंग बात कही कि ये रिलेशनशिप जो है इसके बारे में अक्सर सिनेमा में दिखाया नहीं जाता, but even in society, people have been reluctant to talk about it until perhaps now as well. So do you believe this is also a sign of the changing times we live in as well?
I feel like the sign of changing times are reflecting in the stories that we're telling, and vice versa. It's so incredible right now, because if you say, like fat shaming was something which was so common in the 80s, in the 90s, in the films. It was just like very happy to kind of have that person in the frame and laugh at him or at her. So the world became more intelligent, and we've discarded some ideas which were very dated and jaded and not supposed to be existing anymore.
Correct.
We're constantly growing. We're constantly trying to become more empathetic. And somehow Twitter feels like, and the online world feels like, there is hate which is predominantly driving the world. But there is actually real change that is, a lot of people are feeling like we need to go into the right direction, especially the new kids. They really, really want, there is a fire inside them to change things in the right direction. And because it's very motivated, it sometimes feel like, they are directionless and whatever, they're acting too fast or whatever. But I feel like there is a small revolution happening in terms of changing the human experience for everybody to live in right now, which is very beautiful and which reflects in the cinema that we create.
Ali, you wanted to add something before I get in Roshan as well?
No, I agree completely with all the things that he's saying.
Okay. Roshan, come in here on this project, of course. For you, is this also something you've been wanting to do for a while, to work in a Hindi project as well?
I didn't exactly have a set goal, but I'm always happy to work, in as many different industries as possible, as many different places as possible, especially because Hindi is a language that I can handle. So then, and this is my second Hindi film. It was completely unlike the first film, and in fact completely unlike any other film I've done till now. So that was also one major. Obviously, there's the fact that Vijay just mentioned that I want to work with this team. It is an unmissable opportunity. But जैसे हम ये माँ बेटी के relationship के बारे में बात कर रहे थे, ये film का भी कोई reference नहीं है मेरे पास. It is a film unlike any other film. It is one of its kind, and you know how well we've made it or how people like it, we'll see very soon. But it definitely felt fresh, very different from anything I'd attempted, so I wanted to be there for it.
Yeah, you did co-write this film as well, Jasmeet. तो आपसे पूछूंगा कि you know what was the idea behind it then? As we've been talking, it is historical in a way that we've never seen a project like this before. तो उद्देश्य क्या था तब जब आप परवेश के संग लिख रही थी ये?
The idea was.
And did you always have these actors in mind, or how did the casting happen? I want to get that in as well.
Hamza Sheikh came from Parvez Sheikh, or what? This your name?
No, yeah.
Okay.
Hamza था, फिर शेख हमने लगाया. हाँ. But
Okay.
no. Hopefully not. So एक idea was to tell कि एक माँ बेटी की कहानी है who are completely whacked out and they are trying to fix the daughter's marriage. जिसमें कोई ना कोई थोड़ा सा कुछ एक गड़बड़ है. And the daughter and husband are so in love with each other that it's hard to fix that problem and they come up with अजीब ideas to do so. So that was the idea to tell the story. We decided to base it in Bike Club, having some knowledge of Bike Club, and we all. The thing is that we played a lot with the structure, with the genre, and we wanted to have it to have a fresh voice. As they're saying, there were no references. Even when I met all these actors, I thought कि उनको references लगेंगे because I didn't know them. I couldn't come up with any references. I've actually not given them because there was nothing that could completely match the characters or our voice that we were trying to present. So we wrote the script. I took it to Gaurav from Red Chillies. He liked it. We took it to Alia. She heard a narration. I narrated the script to her, and she also liked it and decided to even produce it, which was great. And then I met Chef, and she turned out to be exactly like Shamshunisa. Of course, I met her because she's a damn good actor. And I thought, abhi aisa kuch kiya nahi hai, so maybe she's hungry to do something different. That was my guesswork, but thankfully she was, and she really connected with it. Vijay also, actually me and Parvez had discussed this, who would be a right Hamza, and we wanted Vijay Verma to play it. And then Alia one day said, what about Vijay? And I was very, very excited, and thankfully he came on board. And Roshan, casting way, Anmol suggested his name. I had seen Roshan's film, Choked and Muthon. I absolutely loved it. We were in the pandemic, so we couldn't meet. So we met on Zoom, we spoke a couple of times. We auditioned just so that to see that we are seeing the same film. Like, we are in the same, sur, I guess, rhythm. And then it was fab. He liked it. We loved his audition, and he came forward.
And the rest is history.
Yes, I'm very grateful.
Yes, but also, the collaboration with Netflix, and it's also turned out to be your, big OTT debut. So how did that happen, and was this also something, looking at the boom, that you felt was right for the project to release it with Netflix?
Yeah, I think we collectively sort of felt while making the film only that it would fit very well on a platform like Netflix. It just gives us those many more eyeballs. What do you wish for for a film? Reach. Netflix has that reach globally. So I think we really were keen to kind of get that global big release and those eyeballs to a film like Darlings. The world is very intimate, it's very authentic, it's very real, there's a lot of flavor in it, and I can see somebody in Korea sitting and consuming this content and feeling like very like surprised by it or interested in it, because right now the world has become such a small place thanks to these platforms, so we're able to get all this content and more. So why not be one of that content that sort of makes waves across the world?
इनफैक्ट RRR के साथ ये हो रहा है, मैं पिछले 2 हफ्तों से देख रहा हूँ, बहुत सारे लोग खासकर यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स ऑफ अमेरिका में वो RRR को देख रहे हैं.
हाँ, और एक्चुअली गंगूबाई के साथ भी हुआ था थाईलैंड में, इट रियली क्रिएटेड सच एन इम्पैक्ट, और जैसे कि आपने कहा RRR के साथ हो रहा है अभी अमेरिका में. इट्स जस्ट समथिंग दैट इज रियली स्पेशल एंड यूनिक, एंड आई थिंक इट्स फैबुलस दैट जो हम पहले सोचते थे कि एक दिन हम एक दूसरे देश में पहुंचेंगे, वो बहुत नेचुरली कैजुअली हो रहा है ऐसे बातों में.
आपके साथ भी हुआ होगा, क्योंकि आपने तो बहुत projects किए हैं OTT platforms.
Yeah, I saw the boom immediately. I think the first lockdown itself, she released on Netflix, and before I know it, I used to get messages for the work that I did, but suddenly I was receiving messages from Morocco, Turkey, parts of North Africa, parts of Indonesia. It's just like crazy. It was receiving messages. I saw that the effect of the show, and it was like immediately like people were identifying with the story, which is set in Mumbai in a seedy place, and they are finding some kind of a connection, and they're tripping on that show there. And so I know that, you know, and especially now that Alia is doing film with my friend Gal Gadot, it's going to be I think she's opening doors for our stories to be consumed in US, which is fab, and so please make sure that Gal watches the film.
तेरी दोस्त है ना, तेरे मुंह तो बोल रहे
And please drop in a word to her, say that this guy is actually a good guy otherwise, so that she talks to me when
I will.
और Netflix के जरिए she'll be able to see it quite easily.
For sure.
मगर Netflix का जिक्र हो रहा है और international recognition का जिक्र हो रहा है, तो शेफाली जी has been path breaking with Delhi Crime, Emmy Award, you know, for that project, huge moment, and we've spoken about that before. मगर अब Delhi Crime 2, क्या आपको उम्मीद थी कि एक sequel आएगा, इतना craze होगा कि कब आ रहा है?
जब बन रहा था DC, honestly कोई भी project जब बन रहा होता है, I enjoy the process of creating it a lot. उसके आगे क्या होने वाला है, I don't know. So जब actually Delhi Crime जब बन रहा था, we didn't know it was going to showcase at Sundance. We did not have Netflix on board yet. We did not know it was going to win the Emmy, and I think that's how these projects get made with so much passion, where you're not aiming कि, you know, it'll be so popular, it will win awards, it'll make money. The point is just put everything into it. And but after it came, it was a given कि, you know, DC2 बनेगी, and I think it was understood, and then with the Emmy it just got heightened. और वक्त लगा, the pandemic hit in between, the whole world came to a standstill, and it's coming back, and I'm very excited. I mean, very excited. Like we all are. We all are.
Yeah, no,
We can't wait.
The nation is जैसे मैं कह रहा था. मगर Gal Gadot का भी जिक्र हो रहा था. So how was that experience for you? और difference क्या है? You know, working in Hollywood. Roshan, I'm sure, has asked this question a lot. Working in South versus working on North, फर्क क्या है? मगर आपसे मैं पूछूंगा कि working in, you know, India and working abroad कि क्या फर्क था और कैसा अनुभव था आपका? And I believe you had a lot in common with Gal Gadot as well.
हाँ, पहले तो गाल गडो है.
Gal.
Gal Gadot.
I did the wrong thing.
नहीं कोई बात नहीं, दोस्त मतलब कभी-कभी दोस्तों से हो जाता है. नोक जो. एक्चुअली मैं सच कहूँ तो सेम ही है, इतना कुछ डिफरेंस नहीं है. मतलब लैंग्वेज आप दूसरे में बात कर रहे हो, न्यू टीम, न्यू क्रू, न्यू काइंड. हाँ, वैनिटी वैन थोड़ी अलग है. हाँ, मतलब अलग मेकअप वैन है और अलग रेस्टिंग वैन है, तो सब साथ में रेडी होते हैं, जो मेरे लिए एक्चुअली शायद नया एक्सपीरियंस था, जो मुझे एक्चुअली आई रियली एंजॉयड इट. कुछ माइन्यूट चीजें हैं इन टर्म्स ऑफ फंक्शनैलिटी और टाइमिंग मैं कहूंगी जो अलग है. जैसे कि यहाँ पे 12 घंटे के दिन होते हैं, वहाँ पे 10 घंटे के दिन होते हैं, बट कभी कभी वो चेंज भी होता है, एंड इट्स वो कंटिन्यूस होता है. देयर इज नो 1 hour लंच ब्रेक, चिलिंग एंड ईटिंग एंड ऑल दैट, वो नहीं होता है.
5 days a week, right? Again.
हाँ, 5 days a week, all those little things. बट एक्चुअली क्या होता है, हमारी जो एक ग्रेन है, फिल्म मेकिंग ग्रेन, वो सेम है इन एवरी लैंग्वेज, इन एवरी industry. It's the same. We're all working to one vision. It's very hard, concentrated work, conversations in between sometimes, but this was my first action film. तो actually वो मेरे लिए अलग था कि एक नया space है, एक first full on जो एक action, spy action thriller. I have never shot that before. तो वो मेरे लिए एक नया experience था. And when you talk about what Gal and I had in common, it was just that when she shot Wonder Woman, she was pregnant and I was pregnant shooting for my first Hollywood film. So she was very like supportive, very kind of aware of that, constantly checking if I was okay, making sure I was drinking water, making sure I was like, don't get dehydrated, don't do this, do you need to eat, do you need a break, are you okay? And that's great. But I think that was the whole crew put together. They were so sensitive to my wants and needs.
बिल्कुल. And also the fact कि वो भी producer हैं.
जी.
असल जिंदगी में भी.
जी. इस Heart of Stone में जिस gal is one of the producers. So yes, it was, and it's her first venture as a producer.
Okay.
So yeah.
And that's happening now with Darlings as well. मैं आपसे पूछूंगा रोशन अबाउट लाइंस ब्लरिंग एज वेल, क्योंकि अब हम देख रहे हैं कि ये साउथ वर्सेस नॉर्थ ये अंतर होता था पहले बहुत, और अब दैट्स बीइंग ब्लर्ड by films of course like RRR, KGF, Bahubali, so many others which Vikrant Rona also just came out. So how do you look at this trend of suddenly this interest in South cinema? Do you believe OTT also has contributed to it? क्योंकि उस पे बहुत languages के films देख रहे हैं लोग.
It's definitely contributed to it in the sense that it's made films from all languages equally accessible. ऐसा नहीं कि ये फिल्म दूर वाले किसी एक छोटे थिएटर में चल रहा है, वी वांट टू वॉच इट, पर यार 2 घंटे का रास्ता है और 3 ही शोज चल रहे हैं. नाउ इट्स वेरी इजी टू एक्सेस, इट्स जस्ट लाइक एनी अदर फिल्म. वीव ऑल गॉटन एक्सट्रीमली कंफर्टेबल विद सबटाइटल्स, सो ऑल ऑफ दैट हैज एडेड. इवन दिस टाइम दैट वी स्पेंट सिटिंग एट होम ड्यूरिंग द पैंडेमिक आई थिंक हैज रियली हेल्प, बिकॉज पीपल wanted a variety of things to watch, and everybody was very open to new experiences in the pandemic because we had to get used to it. So that's definitely helped. I particularly like, maybe जब ये अंतर होता था, जब ये नॉर्थ वर्सेस साउथ होता था, I wasn't even in the scene, so I don't know about that time. I've never looked at it that way. I started doing theatre in Chennai. After that, I moved to Bombay. I was doing theatre here. I was auditioning for random things here, and I started working in front of the camera in Bombay. Actually, one of the first projects that I worked on was a small series for Sony Live, when Sony Live used to be a YouTube channel. We did a small series for Tan Lines. That's when I first worked in front of the camera. Then I went and did my Malayalam films, and I came back and did Choke, and now I'm doing Darlings, both with Netflix. So मुझे ये अंतर एक्चुअली कहीं दिखा ही नहीं है. I've been very comfortable. I've pretty much given the same answer that Ali just gave about working down south and working here. It wasn't as well articulated, but essentially you're doing the same thing, right?
Yes. Same vision.
Yeah. And when the language is also like, I want to ask her actually what RRR was like, because that's not a language that for me. I worked in Tamil, I worked in Hindi. I understand these languages.
I like that question of yours. Please.
RRR. What was like speaking in another language?
Yeah, that you don't
that I don't understand. Yeah, I think that was quite challenging. I was very nervous because I'm like, listen, I'm thinking in a totally different language. I don't even know what it means, but I know the translation. But I think that's where your director really supports you. And with Rajamouli sir, it was so clear. Like each dialogue was like, this needs to be communicated, and that's how I really felt very aided and supported, whether it's like looking up or looking away or looking down, or and like everything was chalked out for me. So I was literally, I was just imitating him pretty much. Like it was very well supported in that sense.
To add to this thing, I feel like the OTT definitely plays a role in making all regions accessible for everybody. Right now, if you just open any of these streamers, there is one Hindi series, next to it is a Korean series, next to it is an English series, and it's not just blurring lines between regions and languages, it's also blurring lines between quintessentially what we call mainstream and independent and big stars and OTT actors, and all of these things, it's all there right now in the same in a same marquee. So it definitely makes it more accessible right now, which is great.
And I guess it should be about good content doing well, not just a trend of OTT or trend of South.
Exactly.
Jaise,
but
media
trends, they never, that trends are not, it's just content that connects at the end of the day.
And it's not about South versus
No,
North.
I'm saying like, for example, like this we're talking about right now, but like a couple of years ago, for a film like Sairat, for example, came, which is a Marathi film. It came and it did a massive. Everyone watched it. It did 100 crores at the box office at that time. It was a massive thing. So I am saying, if you get good content, it'll be consumed. Two films, Arjun Reddy and Kabir Singh, in two different languages, both did well in their respective industries, in other industries. So I mean, you understood.
Got it. Okay. Finally, before we end on a darling note, आखिरी सवाल आपसे 2022 साल पे इस साल के बारे में क्या कहेंगी? I know there's still a few months to go and you've still got Darling. Hopefully it will succeed. You've got Brahmastra after that as well.
Yeah.
और मगर इससे पहले Gangubai doing so well and
Yes.
getting so much love for you.
Yeah.
RRR, huge success. Marriage, pregnancy, Hollywood production. Is it like the best year ever?
Yeah.
As
As Vijay famously said, Vijay famously said
as I famously said,
that the Chinese calendar is going to rename this year as the year of Alia. This is Vijay's words, huh?
yeah.
Make
I
it
want them to become famous, so I said I famously
because
said.
he said I famously said, which he said for the first time in that interview. No, but yeah, it's been a power-packed year, full of everything, full of so many firsts and so many surprises and so many beautiful things. So yeah, very grateful, taking each day as it comes. Fingers crossed for everything ahead, and yeah.
And is this glow post project good projects glow post marriage glow? What is it?
Well,
Belly
it's,
chart glow.
let's just say it's a post working with a very, very talented makeup artist, Puneet Saini glow. And it's a glow that actually I've always had, honestly, because I'm a very happy soul from within. So जो अंदर से होता है वो बाहर आ जाता है. That's it. That's exactly what it is.
Let me say that Ranbir gave me the exact same answer. When I said, what glow is this? He said, well, right now it's makeup.
Yeah.
So I said, fair enough. Finally, I said, I'll end on a darling note. So starting from you, who was the biggest darling for you on set? I know you've been asked this a lot, कि असल ज़िंदगी में कौन है? But for you, and you can't name the teddy bear.
Oh, damn it.
You can't name.
No goodly. Yeah.
अरे गुडली तो सबका डालेंगे. I mean, we can't name like any of these guys.
Yeah, of course you can. Not just not
Name all
goodly.
of us.
Okay, but yeah, that goes without saying that everybody who's sitting here. But I also found a lot of comfort in the fact that my friend Rahul Badwelkar was working on Darlings. I had worked with him previously on Choked as well.
He
so
was
there was
the
this like
associate director.
he was the associate director,
Yes.
and Satish also, who
The
was
first AD.
Satish was the first AD. So both of these guys were also my darlings.
You're done. Jasmeet.
She's very difficult.
Huh?
No.
Yeah. The film is my darling. And the whole team of Darling,
Yeah.
for sure. I mean, all actors, the whole entire
Tough to
crew.
choose.
Okay.
I agree. The film, the team, Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix.
Chalo, you say Netflix is your darling.
The omelette that I learned how to make in Darlings is my darling.
I
And
and
lot
the
of scenes-
pav that I fed you.
Yeah. A lot of scenes in the kitchen. So.
Yeah.
I think I am Netflix's darlings.
चलिए आपने
We are finding new ways to answer this question every time.
But thank you so much. You have all been darlings, let me add, in this interview. और दर्शकों को भी बहुत मजा आया है, and I'm sure उनको और भी मजा आएगा when they see it. So, any what day is it releasing? Any of you would like
5th
to?
of
5th
August.
5th of August.
5 अगस्त आपके नजदीकी घरों में
12th
और आपके
नजदीक के घर मतलब खुद के घरों में खुद के घरों में
Screen near you.
और आपके रिस्पेक्टिव स्क्रीन्स पे.
ये शायद अपने दोस्त
और
गाल के
respective
घर में
accounts
देखेंगे. So
हाँ आप गाल के साथ देखना.
तो दोस्तों के घर में, खुद के घर में
Imagine
जरूर
watching something like
देखें
this.
डार्लिंग्स 5 अगस्त को. बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया आप सबका.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.